Hello my fellow Yubinskis, today's video is my magnum opus, my greatest video ever. Today, I will prove that the Fate franchise, my Deer Friend Nokotan, My Hero Academia, and Bocchi the Rock all take place in the same universe. In the world of MHA, quirks that make you animal-like are very common. My favorite examples are Froppy and Mirko. Animal quirks are very simple in terms of what they do, since they are rather simple. It makes sense that these quirks would evolve first. See where I'm going? Since deer are animals that are absolutely rampant throughout Japan, it makes sense that Nokotan easily falls into the mutant quirk category. Don't believe me? Think about every animal-like quirk user in MHA and how their quirks give them animal-like appearances and powers. But that's not the only character I can link from my Deer Friend Nokotan to My Hero Academia. With the older brother of Chiharu Tsumabeya looking and acting like Ida, it sent off my theory alarms. So, let's list connections. They are both tall men who wear glasses, have dark blue hair, speak adequately, and want to do their best for other people, as in serve them well. You see, all the traits I just listed also have significant genetic factors. What I'm saying is, my Deer Friend Nokotan takes place in the same world as My Hero Academia, but only a few quirks have appeared in the world thus far, which I estimate quirks to appear sometime around 2016 to 2020. Yoshiharu Tsumabeya is the distant ancestor of Tenya Ida, but that is not all for my Deer Friend Nokotan. I can connect it directly to Bocchi the Rock. Back to the Tsumabeya family. Have you ever noticed how Chiharu from My Deer Friend Nokotan and Ryo from Bocchi look and act very similar? Down to the same hair and eyes. But Ryo's last name is Yamada, not Tsumabeya. So that means due to some sort of strange custody arrangement that happened between the Neko Yamada's family and Chiharu's family, Ryo, the older sister of Chiharu in this theory, got switched over to the Yamadas. And that's why she is not around in My Deer Friend Nokotan. Chiharu purposefully acts and dresses like Ryo in a way to honor her. And now, to connect it to the Fate franchise, yet again we have a character that is identical to Ida, Issei Ryudo. Issei is more classically Ida-like, with the same hair, eyes, everything exact, but slightly less muscular. He even does the same robotic arm thing. He has the same personality traits, and he's also taller than other characters in the series of about the same age. You may wonder how I will connect this to the rest of the timeline, but it's rather simple. But before that, we need to look at what we already have. With the stuff we have already connected, it starts with Bocchi the Rock. The anime takes place around 2019 due to us being able to see an iPhone 11 that the blonde character has. Then we know My Deer Friend Nokotan takes place in 2024. That day shows up on screen in an episode where Nokotan gets hunted by the deer hunter. Then, in MHA, it doesn't ever say the exact date. It's just an indeterminate amount of time later, with the first quirk showing up somewhere either shortly before Bocchi the Rock or shortly before My Deer Friend Nokotan, anywhere in that window. So, how do I think this all connects? Simple. It's an alternate timeline where Kiritsugu found and saved Issei instead of Shiro. If Issei was raised by Kiritsugu, his personality would be more of a mix between his and Shiro's. He would like to cook and help out, but would still be rather similar to how he is normally, caring about the rules and doing the right thing, stuff like that. A goody two-shoes, if you will, but also sort of a nerd. He joins in on the 5th Holy Grail War, just like how Shiro normally would be. Issei summons Saber, and the rest plays out somewhat normally. He gets the Holy Grail. This is where it changes significantly. What Issei wishes for is that the world would no longer experience Grail Wars. He would also wish to shift himself to a different place in time, and to have loved ones. He wants to disconnect from the Holy Grail War, because he lost a lot in it. He wants to start over in the future. He specifically wishes to live in a peaceful little city with loved ones, so the Holy Grail grants him sisters. From then on, he just lives a quiet life, making food for the people in the Tsumabeya cafe, finding a way to move on from the Holy Grail War. But due to some sort of custody loophole or legal manipulation, he loses his sister Ryo, and they cannot stay in the same household. Little did Issei/Yoshiharu know, quirks have appeared in the world, and things are about to get a lot stranger. This leads Nokotan to show up at the cafe. As we've established, she has a deer quirk, and Issei is introduced for the first ever quirk user of Japan. Eventually, this leads the world to being flipped on its head. With quirk users everywhere, and All For One taking control of Japan, All Might eventually shows up and subdues All For One, for a decent amount of time. And from there on out, it's just MHA. The list of anime that this chain of events is on in chronological order is Fate Zero, the Issei AU version of Fate Stay Night that we can imagine. You know what else we can imagine? Bocchi the Rock, My Deer Friend Nokotan, and I guess one could count the new MHA spin-off that's also a bit of a prequel, but it's not that important. And then finally, My Hero Academia to finish off this chain of events. I hope you enjoyed this April Fool's Day special. Yes, this is an April Fool's Day video. This theory is stupid, but funny. I'm betting that at least some of you took this all at face value. So anyways, like, subscribe, hit the bell, have a wonderful day, and stay groovy.